to Love in the Time of Hydra, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 10th anniversary podcast. We're a little early today, but we are taking it back to March 15th, 2016. On this date 10 years ago, the top song was still Work by Rihanna featuring Drake, and the top movie at the box office was still Zootopia. Not surprised by that. The primaries continued in what the news was calling Super Tuesday 2. We won't get into what happened, but it was a Super Tuesday too. And the Pope approved making Mother Teresa a saint.
Makes sense.
It had been a while since that had happened. Judd Hirsch turned 81, and Frances Conroy turned 63. Some classics. We love those too. But of course, the most important thing that happened on March 15th, 2016 was the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, The Inside Man, aired on ABC. Hello, I'm Jamie Jarek, and I'm here with my co-host, boyfriend, and level 3 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, Tony Paletto.
Hi.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching along. Happy to be here.
We're cooking with gas in season 3.
We are.
Just awesome guest after awesome guest. And today I'm really excited to introduce him. He's an actor, producer, and director. His credits, so many awesome television shows, includes episodes of Castle, Criminal Minds, The Blacklist, most recently The Rookie. But he's here today because he directed The Inside Man. John Terlesky is here.
Hello there. Hi.
Hi, John.
Welcome, buddy.
How you doing?
Oh, so good to have you. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. It's great to be here. It's great to be here. You mentioned Castle. The writer of this episode is Shalisha Francis. I worked with on Castle before this, so I was really happy at the time to reunite with her for this episode.
So she wrote Yes Men, your first episode.
Yes.
Of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, that's correct.
Which is such a great episode because Lady Sif is in there, and so I'm gonna dive right into that one real quick before we get into today's episode, because you kind of entered this show in its early days where they're connecting to this giant cinematic universe. Do you remember getting thrown into that, and was it awesome at the time? Was it intense?
Yeah, it was just there were so many amazing things. I think the most amazing thing about it at first was they very rarely said no to you. They were always wanting. They were very ambitious, as you know, as you can see. And Jeff Bell, the producer, I remember he told me in one of the first meetings, he said, "I want 42 minutes of barely producible television every week." And
awesome.
So, that was his motto or whatever, and he was great. And I remember going out on Yes Man. The first episode that I did, there was a place that we shot out in the desert that they use as a location on a lot of things. It's basically kind of a gas station, motel, out in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. And we were going to be out there for 2 days. And I said, I'd love to get a 80-foot crane for this one day, at least they're like, you want it for 2 days? And it was always, they were never stingy or like, can we do this cheaper? Blah, 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 blah. That was really fun about it. But anyway, sidebar.
Yeah.
We're
here for sidebars, buddy.
We love it. Anything you want to talk about. We always like to ask people who worked on the show, especially directors who aren't necessarily like thrown in the whole time, if you had any Marvel history. Did you read comics as a kid? Were you into the movies, or did you get just thrown in?
You know what? I just got thrown in. I did. The only comic I read when I was a kid was Conan, and I would go down to Obert's drugstore on the first of every month looking for the Savage Sword of Conan. So I was like in on that from the ground floor, but I didn't really read any superhero books. I just liked the fact that Conan was just a guy. He was really strong and he was capable, but he wasn't like, he couldn't turn himself invisible or make himself 9 feet long or whatever, but so I'm still to this day, I still have my set. I think it's Savage Tales #3 I have out in the garage at the moment. And so
cool.
That's kind of tattered, but it's not in sellable condition, but I have it.
Oh, but, I love that.
Thing was new to me, as far as that universe. I hadn't really worked in that before.
Tony and I kind of just looked at each other because we are not surprised to learn that you love Conan, because you played a character kind of similar to him.
I did.
John, you're the Death Stalker, bro.
I actually had somebody come up to me in an airport one time and go, "Are you Death
No
Stalker?"
way.
Amazing.
I still was younger and I looked a little more like I did, but
you still got that hero jaw, my friend.
I did do a Conan-esque kind of movie.
Yeah, folks, check it out because
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's actually incredibly fun.
We are
Yeah,
fans
it
of
is
that
fun.
movie.
It is fun.
Yeah. We want to talk a little bit. I always am curious about TV directors. It really fascinates me how you get thrown into worlds constantly. How do you approach just being on sets differently? Walking into such a new world, like each day at the office is pretty drastically different for you.
Yeah, I mean, they, most of the shows that I've worked on, and I've done like 120 or close to 120, the different episodes, and they're usually very welcoming. I mean, I've had a couple that were sort of odd vibe when you got there, but they're usually really great, and they try to bring you up to speed, and hopefully, like I always try to watch as many. If I don't have very much time before I know, I'll ask the producer, what are your, you know, what are your, template episodes that you really think this is the show? So I'll try to watch those. I just did the ended up being the series finale of the Cleaning Lady, and I watched every single show of all 3 seasons before I went there. So
Cool.
I try to be up to speed. I used to hate it when I was an actor and the director would come in and not know just like the basics of the show. That used to just infuriate me. So I said, I'm never going to do that. I always,
Yeah.
because then the actors think you're, it's really important for the cast to feel like you're on their side and they, what you're doing. They can turn on you very quickly if you fail to do that.
I love that. I was going to ask you about that because I think that's really cool. I think that actors make great directors for that reason. So there was a big gap between your season 1 and season 3 episodes. Once you do an episode of a show and you don't know if you're coming back, do you still like maybe I'll check back in just in case?
I do. Yeah, sometimes. If I have time, or if I see like a promo and I go, oh, that looks like a fun episode, or if one of my friends or colleagues that I know has directed the show, I'll check that out. But it's really hard to keep up with everything especially when you're in those days. I was really in a rotation. I think one year I did like 11 episodes in 1 year, and it was just
Wow.
like, I was always either flying someplace or, so it just depends on the thing. I used to check in with Blacklist quite a lot because I would go back there twice a year.
I haven't seen a lot of Blacklist, but we love James Spader in this household.
Oh yeah, he's so great.
He's
so great. Such a smart and very charismatic actor.
No doubt.
So, having worked on so many shows, is there anything about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. set specifically that stands out to you that it might be different from others, or is it usually they're pretty similar in that regard?
Well, yeah, like I said, they had a really high ambition level cinematically. So the days were full. The other interesting sidebar was because, as I'm sure you know, Marvel was very concerned with security about the plots and everything. So, when you go in for actors out of the crew, everybody gets these, the pages you're going to shoot that day. They call them the sides for people who don't know, but they're basically all the scenes you're going to shoot. And they staple them into a little packet. And during the day, you're rehearsing and you're looking at them and whatever. They're just pages from the script that are assembled and culled down to whatever material you're doing that day. And on that show, you had to get them in the morning and you had to turn them in the afternoon or the evening when you were done. You could not. I mean, generally when I'm working, I like, oh, that scene's done. Rip into the garbage. You can't do that. You had to turn all the pages that you got in the morning back in before you left set,
so that they could be incinerated by the Marvel executives.
Incinerated, and yes, whatever.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
So that was just a unique experience, just workflow wise, in that world. But the cast was really good. There was no, you didn't go, oh, so and so's here today.
Right.
Oh God, it's gonna be tough. There was nobody like that. There was not the 800-pound gorilla. They seemed to work really well as a team. There weren't a lot of whatever rivalries or like at least when I was there, nobody wasn't speaking to that person or that, whatever. I always had a good time there. I always had a good time.
We heard that a lot. Like
Yeah.
pretty much everyone always says like they just loved each other.
Yeah, they
which
did.
is
They were supportive. They showed up, and I think there was a real camaraderie among the cast,
amazing.
and the crew as well.
Well, we have plenty more to ask you, but I want to take
Yep.
a moment to shout out to our live audience. We've got so many people in the chat; they're having fun. A lot of people are telling me to watch The Blacklist, so
I guess we'll watch The Blacklist.
We gotta listen to those folks.
Good show.
It's if you have questions for John, drop them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. We've got our hour here, so we'll do our best. Also, we don't normally cover news on this podcast, but relevant news dropped today, so we have to bring it up. Big story that Firefly, I wore my Serenity hat, might be getting an animated series. Nathan Fillion said in a video today that they have the cast, they have Joss Whedon's blessing, they have the rights, and they have an animation studio. They just need a home, and he's going to pitch the show today. So, first, Tony, if this happens, we have to do a Patreon show.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys don't know, on our Patreon, we covered all of Firefly. It was 2 seasons, right? One season, and the film. And so, yeah, we would absolutely do episodes. Yeah. I hope it happens. I hope the animation. I want to know what the animation studio is. I want to look at what they've done so I can kind of try and imagine.
The video. I'll show you.
Yeah. I'm curious, but
John,
love those guys.
You've worked a lot with Nathan.
Yes, great guy. Great guy. Really, I mean, what you see is what you get with him. It's not like he's vastly different. I mean, he's not like what's the character he played in oh God,
is it Castle?
No, well, the character in Castle or the character in Rookie, he's more, he's not like the guy in where he played the Green Lantern. He's not that guy.
In Superman. Yeah.
He's not that guy, but he's just like, he's a super good number one. He's always very gracious to the guest cast and everybody that's involved. He really, I think I was talking to somebody and he said that Nathan said, I wish this show could go on forever, The Rookie. So he's really happy there.
My cousin is 16, and The Rookie is her favorite show. And I don't know, I think that's funny.
I've heard that. I've heard that has a really young audience, which is interesting. So cool. That's very interesting.
I interviewed Nathan once, and it was the coolest thing I'd ever done to her, and made me look cool.
We must do a really good interview because he's very, he's very funny and very smart, very, very knowledgeable about current events. So he's, that must have been a good interview.
Yeah. Now, that was a fun bit of news. It came the day after that the Buffy reboot was scrapped, which is all in the same, right? These are all same world stuff, and gosh, this industry's brutal. That's just what I keep saying.
Yeah, it's getting more brutal by the day. It's changing so much. So I'm curious to see when all that, it's like, when are they going to take it out of the dryer?
Good analogy.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, so we're talking Inside Man.
Yeah.
And this episode was actually written by Craig Titley. So
Craig.
your other episode was directed by who you mentioned.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
This one was Craig, who has been on the show, friend of the show. And I'm always I love to ask directors, how do you work with a writer? Well, what is important to you when it comes to collaboration?
It just depends. I think, you talk during prep. There's a lot of conversations that go on in prep. And so by the time you get to be shooting and you're on set, except for the stuff that comes up kind of out of the blue, you've mostly discussed sort of tonally what the scenes are going to be, anything specific. If a lot of times, I'll come in and say, I know it's scripted this, but what if we tried to do this? So sometimes those work out, sometimes they don't. But we had a really nice collaboration. I don't think we butted heads a lot, or even I don't remember on either of the two shows really, being frustrated with the storytelling or anything like that. I mean, it's pretty much, oh my God, we don't have this or this, different things come up. It's like I read this great thing by Mike Tyson the other day. Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much any day on set, because something's going to hit you in the mouth. You got this great plan going and something's going to hit you in the mouth. So I think most of the stuff that we probably dealt with was when we got hit in the mouth by something.
Yeah.
So
that reminds me of that Orson Welles quote that from.
Oh yeah. What is it? I said it like 8 times.
You said it so many times.
Orson Welles said the enemy of art is unlimited possibilities or something.
Yeah.
You're gonna work best when you have some sort of restriction, when your back's against the wall. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
John, did you rewatch the episode to prepare, or were you remembered enough?
What's that? I felt like I remembered it enough. And I'll just chime in when I see stuff that seems interesting and that you'd like to hear about. But yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, we always. I want to make sure our guests know. Like, we know it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't have to remember everything.
If you're like, I don't remember, that's valid. Unlike, like, I've seen this episode a lot. Like, I love this show. And whereas Tony's watching for the first time, so Tony, this is a good opportunity for you to just, in case we have anybody new watching, explaining how we do this podcast.
Yes. So I'm watching the show for the first time. Jamie's seen it 100 times. So tag your spoilers in the comments. If you're going to comment on something beyond the episode we're talking about today, just put spoiler alert ahead of it. Hopefully there are people like me going through it for the first time who are joining us live and want to help protect them and protect me. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thanks so much.
So nice.
Appreciate that.
This is the moment of the show where we just like take it to Tony, because you watched it for the first time.
I did.
What did you think of this episode?
I liked this episode a lot. I liked it especially as it got towards the end, because for the majority of it, I was just frustrated as hell because Talbot's such a bitch. Like, Talbot gets on my nerves so much, and like it's perfect. Like, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. This is a compliment to the show. Like, he is infuriating. But also I'm becoming pretty well conditioned to the double twists that the writing of this show typically does. It's this guy, here's the turn, it's this guy, and it's like, oh no, here's the second turn, it's not this guy. So like I was kind of had ants in my pants for this one, being like, what's going on here? But no, I really liked it. I'm excited to see Creel again, just because he is so cool looking. I thought Rubber Tire Creel was pretty badass, and I like that Ming's out here doing business, having a very successful off-screen mission, just comes back with the truck. Like, there was a lot to like about this one. Yeah.
It's a fun one. There's like,
it's capery, I thought this one was very capery. This
yes. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you do the thing where you're establishing the geography of the space with a voiceover of like the steps you're gonna take. That's like caper DNA 100%. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go through the episode a bit, and if I'm gonna run this conversation like it's gonna be like butter. So I got so many questions, but John, chime in if anything comes up and you're like, oh, but this fact. Don't hesitate. We actually, so the episode opens with a flashback towards death.
Yeah.
And what's funny, John, is that it's rare. We happen to have two directors 2 weeks in a row. We had Ron Underwood on last week. We've never had directors that close together before. But what's funny is both episodes last week and this week open with scenes that the director didn't actually shoot.
Right.
Which I always think is interesting. And like, do you when you, I assume it's in the script, so that you're not filming this opening.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. And then you just go, okay. I mean, there's many times that happens. That happened on Blacklist. They do a flashback, and then it's not. I just go, something I don't have to shoot.
A whole 60 seconds. That's not my problem. But I have to bring up, Tony, that it's like we get like a whole flashback of Ward's life, and of course we see the well.
The fucking well, man. They love talking about the well. I don't know, John, if you know about the well, but that's what Ward is just, something bad happened at the well with his family. And it's like they get in season 1 and 2, it's just not that interesting. And season 1 and 2 are constantly being like The Well, and I'm like, I've heard enough about The Well.
Yeah.
Like,
I laughed when I saw The Well. Like
Yeah.
it really like but I love it too. Like
Yeah.
it's fun to be like, God dang it, The Well.
Poor Ward and his trauma.
Then we got Malik. I mean, I'd love to hear about working with Powers Booth. Every chance we get, we have somebody on the show. We're like, tell us about Powers Booth.
Oh, he's so great. He was so great. He used to be my. He used to live just down the street, in fact, and I would see him at stuff locally here, and he was friends with another director friend of mine, so I'd see him at parties. What a great guy! What a loss. You know, just a fine actor and such a professional in every way, and like he's just, you watch him, he's just kind of a masterclass on how to hold the screen. It doesn't matter what he's in. I mean, he did like really good movies. He did some really not so good movies. And he's always just like magnetic to watch, you know, you never caught him like passing judgment on the material. You know, you didn't feel like there's a thought balloon over his head saying, I really shouldn't be here. I'm really much better than this. He would just do it, and he'd give 100% to whatever part it was and whatever level of project it was. He was a real pro.
I love that. And I'm always interested with guys who are notoriously like, he is kind of a back pocket son of a bitch. Like, anytime you're gonna get Powers Booth in a movie, he's going to be someone authoritative and just a menace. And but like, was he nice?
That's what I'm saying. He was totally nice. He was not. He just was, and he's funny. You know, he's great sense of humor,
Cool.
and just, you know, didn't seem to take life too seriously. You know, he didn't take. I guess he just felt like, I think, lucky to be working. You know, he was always happy to be working. And he didn't. There's some guys you watch, and some actresses you watch, and you feel like they just can't stand being there. And I've worked with those on set too, and when they can't stand being there, nobody wants to be there. You know.
Yep.
And it's no fun. I mean, it should be fun. You know, at the end of the day, we're making a TV show, and you know, getting paid a fair amount of money to do it. So it's like, what's to grumble about?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool job. You have a cool job.
Yeah, it's a good job.
Love hearing that, because he has a presence. He had a presence, and he's we love talking about him. That's a fun thing about this show too, is just who they get. The villains each season is pretty awesome. Talbot's back. Talbot. The thing about Talbot that's great is that like I have to shout out Adrian Pasdar, because like Talbot would be so easy to hate, and like I love him.
Yeah.
Even though he's everything I hate about a white man. He is the embodiment of like what he's just being casually racist at every turn.
I love how bad he is. Well, it turns out he's doing a double cross, but I did really enjoy him at the party just being a terrible spy.
Like but like he's so good. He's so endearing and funny. And like,
because he's pitiful.
Yeah, like it's just Adrian Pasdar walks a fine line.
He sure does.
And I really appreciate that.
You know, he's another very, very skilled actor. Very, very skilled actor. I think he's kind of underrated, you know. He's very capable, and was always he was always prepared, and always had a really strong point of view. I worked with him on another show as well. Same thing. I think it was Grand Hotel. I worked with him on.
Cool.
I believe that was it. But I did work with him on something else, and it was the same thing. I mean, he just takes his work very seriously.
That does not surprise me. So Coulson and Talbot are like meet up in an airport. This looked like an actual airport.
It is. It's Ontario Airport. Ontario Airport. It is an airport. And a lot of things shoot there now, because they have a whole what do you call it? The whole terminal wing or something like that. It's shut down. It's just the airport is still functional, but that terminal is not being used. So you get all the production value, you get planes on the runway, you get everything, and it's not like just blue screen out the window. It's yeah, it's a little bit of a drive down there, but I think it's still in the zone. But yeah, well, I just talked to somebody who was shooting down there a few months ago.
Awesome.
But yeah, it is a real airport.
You can, and like, I love that we love a real location because like you can always tell when it's real. And I was sitting there like, I can't believe they filmed at an airport.
I was thinking that just when Ming was sitting in her car in the parking lot of an airport. I'm like, she's at an airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I like that's really cool. Okay, there's a fun moment, but also an insane moment where we see Hunter has a gun and he's like looking through the scope, but like he's just like pointing it at his friends, just like silly. But I also love like a POV shot like that.
Yeah.
Did you throw things like in like? Wouldn't it be fun if we shot through the gun?
No, I think they just did. I'm pretty sure they just did that in post because we can't. You can't get you. They just add that, the whatever.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we just do it on a long lens, and then they in post put in the crosshairs and all that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should have made like Tony looked at me like that was a stupid question. Like I didn't mean like did you put a camera in a gun?
No. Tony
looked at me like Jamie.
Yeah.
I did not word that very well. But John answered it so nicely.
Yes, he did. He's like, no, we didn't actually film through the scope of a gun.
We're doing great. So they're going to this symposium for the alien contagion, and then we get Daisy being like, it's not a disease, it's an awakening. She's a little sensitive, and this is all just like, oh, they couldn't use the X-Men.
That's right.
Yeah.
This really feels like a lot of season 3 feels like just like X-Men storylines.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that was doing those vocabulary gymnastics. They were like kind of, I felt like they were in the movies too. Certain things we're not broaching this because we just not allowed yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, listen, Creel's awesome. I wanted to ask, where did we leave off with him? Did he like escape and run away somewhere? Because like I couldn't remember why specifically English guy. Why am I blanking on his name? Hunter. Why Hunter was like especially mad at him?
So at the beginning of season 2, Creel killed Izzy, who's Lucy Lawless's character.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so and that was both Creel's first episode and Hunter's first episode.
Yeah, like the start of season 2.
I was trying to remember why he specifically had that grudge, and now, okay, thank you.
If the audience needs to remember this, I feel like, John, they threw you into a really like episode that was heavy with stuff you have to know.
Yeah, I remember having to be kind of schooled on what getting brought up to speed on all these machinations that happened prior to this episode.
Yeah, because even if you have watched it, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
We need like the show Bible for this one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We get like May is training Lincoln. Talbot isn't excited. I think it's funny that Coulson's just like, I hope you and your wife make up.
Coulson's the best. This is like, I talk about this a lot, but like Coulson is my favorite character on this show because he's always giving benefit of the doubt, second chances, trying to appeal to people's better nature. Like he's always taking that step towards he takes risks in trust, which I think makes him a really good hero.
Yeah, and a good leader.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned before we get this really cool fight where we've got like Lightning Lincoln and Creel turns into like the Rubber Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool moment. Can you break down a little bit what you were seeing like behind the scenes in that? Because we always shout out Mark Kolpak, VFX supervisor. He's
my God,
does some
I love
awesome
that guy
stuff.
so much. That guy was just the director's friend the whole time. They again, they were always very ambitious, and there's a lot of stuff that has to happen with any kind of visual effects shot, and they've gotten more sophisticated now, and you don't have to do so much of it. But at that time, there was a lot of things where you needed a green screen, and often, in standard situations, otherwise, you were going to have to do what's called rotoscoping, which is basically having to go in every frame and remove stuff. But a green screen often is just in the speed of shooting production is very time intensive, and they have to balance, the light on it the right way, and it can't, watch out for spill and all these things they have to worry about. And it's a time suck. And so many times Mark would just go, don't worry, we'll roto it. Don't worry, we'll roto it. And I was because it's just would just suck time out of your day to have to do it the quote unquote old fashioned way. Now they've got AI and everything, and they can just get rid of that building. It's like they can just tell it to do it, and it's gotten way more advanced than it was at that time. But he was just so great, and I thought all the effects on the show were really well done. So I was a big fan of Mark's.
We talk about that a lot, how like 10 years later, it's a network show and still it looks great, which is, I feel like is rare. Sometimes, if they don't age well or they didn't have the budget.
Yeah. Well, they don't have the time really. I mean, I think it's less about the budget and it's more about like, we have to deliver this Thursday, and you need, and with a lot of visual effects, when a sequence gets complex, you need to have multiple passes on it and be able to go, let's try this, let's try that, and finesse it, and when it's got to be on the air on Saturday, they often don't have the time to do it. It's not. I think a lot of times they get to, they're no good, and they're not. It's not that they're no good. They just don't. Literally, nobody could do it in that amount of time. It's because it just needs more time, and it's just the trade off in episodic TV in so many areas, but. I think that's why you see with a lot of the streaming shows, you see a kind of a higher level of in the effects and various things, because all those scripts are written before they ever start shooting.
Yeah, they don't have an air date.
Yeah, they don't have an air date, so they can take their time and get everything right and then put it on the air. And with network episodic, they start the season in July or whatever, and they're maybe they've got 3 or 4 scripts if they're lucky in the bag, and then it just starts getting closer and closer to deadlines as you go in. When they were doing it, like at this time they were still doing 22, I think, or they were doing 18 at least, and that's just, they never catch up. They almost never catch up. It's just like they're up against it for the rest of the year. So
yeah,
it's magical. I say it often. Like I miss we still have shows with the 22 episode seasons, but it's just not the same. It's not as like it used to be. And gosh, and it was just it's so exciting. I miss it so much. There are lots going on. Gemma and Fitz are interrogating Creel. All this business. Daisy can't go to the symposium. We got to talk though about the scene between Malik and I don't know if we've officially have who Ward is now. Do we have a name?
He's King Hydra, the OG ghost of Hydra. I don't know. He's pissing me off. I tell you, Ward has reached a new echelon of insufferable. Like now he was always better than everybody in his mind, and now it's way worse. Now he's like an evil entity that is like inhuman or whatever. I did have one question, and maybe you could answer this for me, John. When we saw him in the last episode, he we got like this, like his ribs and shit, and in this one I'm like, oh, okay, I don't think the makeup is trying to tell me he's skinny, because he's too buff to be skinny.
He's a very fit guy.
Yeah, his ribs, I'm guessing, are protruding because he got his chest crushed. Is that what it is?
I think so. I think that was the thing. I know they had to put some kind of appliance on him. I remember that took a long time. And I think it was something to, jack up the unworldly, sort of vibe to it. But I do remember some kind of appliance, but he would not have needed any assistance on the physique front.
No, he's got it.
Everyone in the chat wants you to call him Squidward.
Why do they want me to call him Squidward?
Because just go with it.
Okay, Squidward. I did it. See, this is John. I don't know things, and people tease me because they know and I don't.
But that's fun. So in this, Tony thought it was really funny that last week, like the character of Squidward is watching all these TVs, and now he's reading all these books.
Yeah, he's reading books, old books.
I have a fun question. If you're like meeting this ancient alien and you're like, what am I gonna? I have to teach you stuff. What is the first movie and the first book you're giving him?
Deathstalker 2. Just to get your basic education in. And then book, I don't know, Tale of Two Cities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both classics in their own, holding the same sphere.
John, do you have an answer of what you would share with an ancient alien?
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I would say maybe my favorite thing would be Warner Brothers cartoons, perhaps The Barber of Seville, or The Rabbit of Seville, and or What's Opera Doc. I would probably start off with one of those two.
That's a great answer.
Those are good
actually.
ones,
Like
yeah.
you're teaching a lot. It's actually funny. I saw a really interesting thing. Like everyone's talking about the ballet and opera thing right now, and I saw like a good point of like the reason why young people aren't as appreciative is because they don't watch Looney Tunes anymore.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting observation.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, I did train my daughter on Looney Tunes when she was that age, so I sat her down and gave her an education, so she knows what I'm talking about when I talk about things.
My dad did the same thing, but also it helped that Space Jam came out like in the prime of our childhoods.
Totally.
So that was like a big resurgence of Looney Tunes times when we were kids. What a classic piece of cinema. Thank you for answering my silly question, and you gave a really good answer. So we've got May and Hunter. Like I enjoy that little banter there.
Me too.
One cool thing about this episode, John, is that you get to work on a lot of like just iconic Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sets. Like I really like hearing about what these sets are like, because I know they're complicated and they're obviously a lot smaller than they appear to be.
The plane was I remember the plane very well. That was incredible, just in its size and its kind of complexity. I'm trying to remember what we spent a lot of time on this episode in a mansion in Beverly Hills. I remember we were there for quite a few days, and then there was another place. There was some mansions we used a lot for the interior, and there was another mansion we used a bunch for the exterior. But I remember this one being, and then that we had the airport. I think we were out more than we were in on this episode. It feels like that's my recollection. They had all the. I remember on the first episode we had all the labs and the corridors and the. But there was a fair amount of that too. There was Vegas. This episode, I really remember those two mansions the most, and I'm just trying to remember the interiors that I had in it. And I'll if I see whatever I see, I'll chime in if while we're watching.
That was gonna be my next question. Is like you're supposed to be in Taiwan, but obviously you're not in Taiwan. They didn't fly you out to Taiwan to film these, and so that's always interesting. So this big symposium is actually happening in Beverly Hills, basically, which is neat. That
I think it was the spelling. I thought it was one of the spelling or the X spelling houses or something like that. The one that we used in Beverly Hills. It was I don't know why I'm remembering it that way, but there was something that was either the spelling house or next door to the spelling house or something like that. But anyway.
That tracks. I'm sure that's been used for other locations. Look into. Like it's a pretty beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure we could find. I'm sure we could just drive on by. Are you in LA, John?
Yeah.
It looked like you had a
no. I have notes. I'm just deep.
So Coulson's playing a doctor. They're basically trying to figure out who's working with Malik, and we meet this guy Anton Petrov, who to me gave such comics energy. I had to look up. I'm like, is this guy a comics character? He's not.
Yeah,
he was creative for the show. But that's just showing that they're doing a good job. Like writers of creating these characters, because I literally was like Anton Petrov. Comics. Nope. We already talked about. I just wrote casually racist.
Casually racist, like still Russian because he's Russian.
Yeah. But the hand tech.
I mean, this is Mission Impossible shit. You'd love this.
It's like Mission Impossible masks for your hand.
I thought that was a great piece of writing.
Yeah.
That had to be fun to film too, because it's just Clark Gregg shaking hands, but then in post it's so neat everything that they do for it.
I love that.
But
Yeah, we are a big Mission Impossible household. So
Totally.
stuff like that is like, eat it up.
Yep.
So, okay, this is fun. So, like, we have this great Daisy and Lincoln training scene, where they're like, they're fighting and rolling around, and I did look at Tony, and I was like, do you think this reminded John of the time that he fought
Queen Kong in the ring? I mean,
Look, it's so funny because those things keep. It must be a karmic thing because those things keep coming my way. I did one scene very similar to that on Castle with there was a moment where Michael Trucco, the actor Michael Trucco, came on as a brief love interest for Stana on Castle, and they had one of those fights where they're, what I call like romantic fights. They're like rom-com fights, and I had this one, and then I did another one. What was the other one in? Well, I have the one that I acted in obviously in DS2. But then there was another one I did, and so I did like 3 of those rom-com fights. It was like by the time I got to the third one, they were asking me questions like, "Believe me, I know how to do this stuff."
So, it is a fun trope, though.
It's great. It's great. Oh, it was in a thing called Gone that I did with an actress who was in the Hunger Games called Levin Rambin. I did a pilot of a show that she did called about a woman who'd been abducted. But anyway, there was another one of those fights in that thing. But
quick aside, I just want the Queen Kong fight is really, really fun in Death Stalker.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Like, I was also really impressed by the choreography in the final sword fight of that movie. Like that in Death Stalker 2, it's like this is like kind of a fun, campy, spoofy movie, but like that was a really good sword fight.
I choreographed that sword fight.
You son of a bitch! That's amazing. Then congratulations and well done, because like I was remarking on just like this is like really high quality fight.
No, me and the it was very difficult. Some of the language problems that we had, the communication, and so me and the guy that played the villain, he just kind of went through there, and we were running out of time. It was only like a 16-day shoot or something. It was very short. But we went down there, and I just, I knew what the director, wanted to do. I knew how he worked. And so I just kind of said, we've got 4 sections here, and we're going to do this here. We're going to do this here. We're going to do this here. And so we just sort of designed it to the set.
Dope.
Awesome. Thanks for letting us geek out.
Yeah. That was really fun.
So in the back to the show, they're doing the symposium, and what's cool is that it's this huge room of like all these characters we've never seen before. And I'm interested what that was like on set, at like directing people who like everybody in the room is new. I feel like there's maybe an exciting energy going on.
I don't remember. I don't remember it being, like terribly exciting in the sense of like, it's just like you're kind of going, I got to get all this today. That's where my head is at. It's like, I got all these faces I got to cover today. And so that's sort of mostly what's on my mind in a large scene like that. 'Cause I'm going, oh my God, I got to do this, and I got to do those other 2 scenes today. And so, and large scenes are the bane of my existence. If it's a party scene, I hate it. And if it's these big things, because here's the problem. All the actors are bored because none of them is doing anything particularly big. So they all have the thing where I only got to do this little thing here, and I got to, and it's not all about me. So they tend to lose interest, and then they get like a kindergarten. I always call it teaching kindergarten, because there's nothing they're focused on. So they just talk amongst themselves, and they're making each other laugh. It's like, okay, focus everybody. Now the cell phone, I will tell you that the cell phone has killed all that in a way.
So a different problem.
It's a different problem, but because it used to be like, if you had a big table scene or a big scene like that, you'd have everybody between takes. You couldn't shut them up. They would start talking amongst themselves, and you go, quiet, we're rolling, blah blah blah. And finally they kind of behave. But now between every take, you go cut and
Mm-hmm.
it's all that now. And they don't talk to each other at all. So
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. That's like a really good
It makes me sad.
microcosm of the problem that like we used to be social.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They say, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. You never hear that anymore. I mean, they may be saying it over there by the craft service table at some other point or in the makeup trailer. But when you're on set and you're in these big groups, they just, the phones are tucked under their leg. I mean, it'd be funny to do something where you saw all the water. I mean, they had that famous Game of Thrones thing with the water bottle. But if you could see all the water bottles and all the lattes and cups of coffee that are stashed, like just out of frame, it'd be an hilarious thing if you could kind of like go into the camera and do like some 3D scan. Here's the coffee cup, and here's where the sides are taped because they don't know their lines, and that kind of thing.
Someone's crocheting.
Yeah, or whatever. That would be a interesting little sidebar.
Yeah. Bring back DVD special features. This is the stuff we want to see.
Yeah.
The chat's already talking about the next moment, which is really cool, which is Bobby is like climbing across the outside of the building.
Outside of the building, yeah.
And the chat says that Adrienne was doing all that herself.
She did a fair amount of it. She was pretty handy. And she liked to do her own stuff. I think there's a couple moments where it wasn't just for insurance. But yeah, most of it she was out there trying to do as much as she could by herself. It wasn't like long shot, all stunt man, but she actually did go out there for sure.
Cool. We find out that Talbot's son is in like the stasis box. Do you remember what that was like on set? How practical it was versus not? Obviously they don't have a kid in a box. I do know that there's no kid in a box.
Okay. So you know that they're not filming down a gun scope, and there was no kid in a box.
But do you remember what was on set? Like how much was practical?
You know what? I'll have to when we go by it. I'll have to see.
We're not watching it. We're just talking about it.
Okay, we're just talking. Okay.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have sat here and talked to you for 45 minutes and then
we're gonna watch. Yeah. No, I don't. I honestly don't remember. I don't remember.
That's all right. Again, 10 years ago.
And don't feel bad. You know who else thought that we were going to watch the episode was Clark Gregg. Clark Gregg was deeply confused when he was like, "Wait, we're not watching it."
Well, I've done these things where they do watch it, and you're commenting as you go. So
it's different. You know whose fault that is? It's mine.
It's ours. Yeah.
For sure. Let's see here. So it's the Lincoln and Daisy debate. It's the classic X-Men debate. And do you who are you siding with in terms of should there be a cure option? Is that a slippery slope?
I mean it's fear-based, right? Like it's trying to kind of have this idea that it's a choice. I'm more inclined to agree with Daisy that it's a birthright, right? Like, okay, maybe it wasn't in the evolutionary cards to have this stuff that turns you, right? But it did happen, and I don't necessarily think that there's anything malicious about what Lincoln is thinking, but I do generally side with Daisy more on this.
I think I do too.
Yeah.
And that's just because I've seen the X-Men movies and I know what happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
When they go in this route. We've got a great shootout scene. Bobby's kicking ass. I love, John, when when a guy gets thrown into a gong.
Oh yeah, cute.
Yeah.
It's China.
You have to do it. If you're going to have a big gong, somebody's got to hit that thing, and you're going to have a fight.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going into that thing because what's funnier than the sound?
Yep. That's very good.
It's like getting hit with I mean, you don't want to ever in real life hit somebody with a cast iron skillet, but in a movie or in a cartoon, it's funny as hell because it goes gong. In fact, it would break their skull, but it's funny.
It's instant death.
When an anvil falls on Wile E. Coyote, it makes a loud noise and makes his head go like that, But real life, not so much.
No.
Tony, you brought up earlier when May like comes in with the truck, but like just the women are so cool.
The women are so cool. I loved because I'd forgotten. May was like, you guys go in there, get Talbot and get Coulson. I'll go get the kid. And she takes off on a motorcycle. And I thought at that time, I was like, cool, I'm excited to see this chase. But then the show kept happening. It was suspenseful and I was watching it. And then the fact that she just came back with the truck, I'm like, God, you're so badass.
Yeah, she was cool. She talk about somebody who was like so different than the way the character presents. I don't know if you interviewed her, but
we haven't had her on the show yet.
I've interviewed her a few times, and like she's just a ray of sunshine.
She is so funny. She is just got a wicked sense of humor. Is always making jokes, always making like off-color remarks, like dirty jokes, everything. It's just completely opposite than the really like just poker face that she has on the show.
Love that.
That's a treat to work with.
It just shows like what a good actor she is.
She is.
Yeah,
she really is. Really is. We'll get her one day.
Yeah. Oh, I have full faith in that. So we go from now Daisy and Lincoln do hook up.
Sure.
From they had their sexy fight.
Now they have their sexy sex.
I just have to shout out. I love network TV sex because like we get some shoulders, we fall off screen, and then we have to just infer the rest.
That's right. That's
you know the playbook, sir.
Yeah.
And then everything works out.
Hey, it did. Hey, there's gonna keep being a show.
Yeah, Coulson and Talbot. We get that cute "Call Me Glenn" occasionally.
Oh, he's chewing on his tongue. He doesn't want to be friends with him so badly, but he can't help it. He's got no choice.
So, John, the moment we have to talk to you about, so Brett Dalton was on our podcast in December, and when we kicked Tony out of the room, one of the first things I asked him was, "Tell me about getting dipped in all that honey."
Was it honey?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was honey. What was that like from your perspective? Because like it had to have been disgusting.
It was kind of disgusting. It was, I remember that just kind of going, okay, well, we're doing this now. And soon it will be over. Just one of those things. It's you're in a whole different world. So, and it calls for it. So that's what you do, but it was one of the more interesting scenes I've had to shoot.
Once you're like allowed to watch it, you'll have to go back and watch Brett talking about getting.
Oh yeah. I am a honey glazed Brett Dalton.
Yeah.
But I think
he's a flavor at Dunkin' Donuts.
Honey glazed Brett Dalton.
Let me tell you, that would be first in line, my mom.
Yeah, she would. She'd get that honey glazed Brett Dalton. She's a big fan.
Okay, so then we get it's Marvel. So we got a post-credit scene, which is Malik is teaming up with Anton, who I forgot. The chat pointed out he's also in Buffy. That actor, he plays a monk in season 5.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Word.
A little fun connection. And Bobby and Hunter are like hiding on this plane. How do you feel about this?
I'm excited. I'm excited for them to surprise Powers Booth, and I like that they're there. I like that Coulson had the foresight to put them there. That's good. I'm excited for the next episode because of that stinger.
Did you film the post-credit scene too, John?
I'm pretty sure that I did. I don't know. The only thing I remember that I didn't shoot was the early flashbacks.
Cool.
But I had to do there was one of those on Yes Men as well, and I shot that. So I'm imagining that was in my on my call sheet.
It makes sense. It's not like in the movies where they like bring in like on Fantastic Four. I think the Russo shot that.
Oh,
you know
right,
what I mean?
because it was gonna tie into the next movie.
Yeah, it's not quite the same in the.
No, I'm sure that was in John's script.
Yeah,
because those were scripted. Those post credit scenes were scripted.
John, is there anything that you remember else about filming this episode that I didn't touch on, that we didn't bring up, that you wanted to share?
I'm trying to think. We covered a lot of this stuff. The airport, the Adrian Zemet of it all. And I was a big fan of his I think that was the first time I worked with him but I was a big fan of his from Near Dark. You know.
Oh, Near Dark's great.
Love Near Dark. Yeah.
He was. I thought, who's that guy? He's good. So it was fun to work with him, and he was, like you said, he was just 100% committed to that character. It was really, really fun to watch. I don't remember much else just like that pops into my head.
You did great. You knew 99% of the answers, which is like a pretty good ratio. Because again, it's like every time we're like, do you remember this? Tony, anything that you want to just say from the episode that I didn't bring up?
I'm just so deeply unconcerned about Daisy and Lincoln's relationship. Like I'm like there's like Lincoln didn't do anything wrong. I just think she's the coolest. And I'm like, who's this chump?
It's Riley from Buffy. It's the same
It's the
thing.
same thing with Riley from Buffy. There's nothing wrong with you, dude.
He's a nice vanilla boy. Vanilla is just not. It's vanilla.
Vanilla. She should deserve some honey glaze, but not Dalton.
Yes. No. So we do a thing towards the end, John, where we name an episode MVP. It can be an actor, it can be a character, it can be a potted plant. Tony, do you have an episode MVP?
I'm gonna give this one to Talbot.
Yeah. I think that's like I agree.
Just his last moment of like when he says, "You can call me Glenn," but like occasionally, like he's gritting his teeth. I was like, that was such a funny moment. So well acted. He just gets to be the most dynamic in this episode, and I just enjoyed the hell out of his performance.
John, is it your same answer, or do you have a different answer?
I'm gonna go with Powers Booth because every time I'd go talk to him or give him a note or whatever, I'd always be thinking of what's that character he played in Tombstone, Johnny. Anyway,
I don't remember the name.
Everyone brings up Tombstone. You're not the first guest to bring up Tombstone.
Well, because Paxton too.
Because Paxton was also on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So,
so I'm gonna go with that. I'll go with Powers Booth for 200, Jack.
John, before we let you go, okay, I have a question, but I have to ask it kind of delicately because it is a spoiler question, but Tony knows the spoiler. We geeked out a little bit on Deathstalker. We have to just for a second bring up the fact that you were in an incredible film called Chopping Mall.
Yes, I was. Those are
an iconic. Yes.
Two cult hits. I've got more than some. Less than others, but more than some.
And we love it. You have to be aware that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did a Chopping Mall episode.
I did not know that.
I did not know. You gotta leave the room.
I gotta leave the room. Okay, all right. So I'll say thank you to
thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, everyone. All right, cool. All right, you guys talk. I'll be back.
Okay. We got
I had no idea.
Wow, this is incredible. So Tony knows that there's a Chopping Mall episode because we're film people, and that came up long before we knew we were doing this podcast.
Sure.
But the final season, there's a whole episode that is a full homage to Chopping Mall. Like they do, like it is like so many like beat for beat things that it's like a love letter to that movie. Yeah.
Oh, how funny. Well, I don't know who wrote that one or what the gestation was. Jeff Bell always seemed like kind of a guy who would be kind of a connoisseur of that genre. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'd love to see the episode. I have to watch it now. But that, Jeff was well educated in that niche of show business.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised.
Tony loves that movie, and so that episode we won't get on the podcast till 2030. We're very far away from it, but I'll
watch it. What's the episode called?
It's called The Totally Excellent Adventures of Mac and the D.
And
you're gonna watch it and be like, you're gonna watch it and go, where did the show go? Like the show goes to crazy places. It's in season 7. But I love that I got to share that information with you because
that's so great.
It's
that's so nice.
It's a top 10 episode for me. It's
I'm
one of
going
my
to check it
favorites.
out. I'm going to check it out for sure.
Amazing. John, thank you so much for taking your time
Thank
and
you.
giving us
Thank
to
you.
talking
This
to
was
us today.
great. It's so fun. So fun.
It was so fun to talk to you, and honestly, the best part about having you on the podcast is that it brought us to your filmography and it made us Death Stalker fans. Like we like you're not in 3 and 4, but I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna watch them. Like we're hooked.
Yeah, I'm going to just say, man, I'm not prejudiced, but I think 2 is the best of all of them. Even the remake. They just done a recent remake, and I haven't seen that one, but 3 was 3 was trying, but I think it's the second one is just so goofy and weird, and it just I don't know if you knew, but we Jim Wynorski and I rewrote that entire script. It was a serious script when we went to Argentina. It was like a straight ahead Conan movie. It was really bloated and full of stuff. And we went down there. We got down there like a week early before we were supposed to start, and then there was we had to push shooting for a week, and we're looking at all these cheesy sets, and like literally the swords were wood with painted silver. I mean, they had like one metal sword and everything else was wood painted. We're like, and we looked at each other and we were like, we cannot make a serious movie here. We cannot make a real movie. I said, what if we just do a spoof? And we just literally sat up in the like the game room of this hotel we were in. And we sat there for a week and we just rewrote the entire script from page 1. As we just thought of every stupid cartoon gag we could think of, every just old horror movie gag, the zombies. We're like, how about some zombies? We'll do those. And so the script that we went down with doesn't even exist. And nothing in the movie is the script we went down with. And
you made such the right call. Truly.
So
thank you for the gift you gave us.
Yeah, and I'm like talking like a 40s detective, and we just said nothing was off limits. We had the best time. We just laughed ourselves silly doing that movie.
Amazing. Thank you for talking about that. Like truly. And I hope I want to hear your thoughts on the shopping mall episode.
Yeah, I gotta hear. I'll message you in the LinkedIn or whatever.
Yes, please. Let me know.
I'll take a look.
Before we sign off, where can the people find you? Do you have any episodes TV coming up that people should look out for?
I just had a rookie that was on in whatever February maybe, and then I got another rookie that's going to be on, I think, in April. I don't know the date exactly, but it's the rookie number's 816. I know that's the episode number. I just can't remember the title of the episode, but those are the most recent. The other one was I thought the episode that just aired was pretty good. I was very happy with it, and I haven't seen this new one since once I turn my cut in. I don't know what I'm going to see on the network. So, but I've had a lot of fun doing that show. That's another my experience always comes down to what's my 3 weeks going to be on the show, because I don't have any control over the writing and I don't have any control over the post. So it's like, am I going to have a good 3 weeks or am I going to have a bad 3 weeks? And I always have a good 3 weeks on the rookie. So
awesome. We like hearing that. Everyone check out, keep your eyes out for John's episode. Keep checking that IMDb. John, thank you again. This was so much fun. Yep. I want to just give the audience a quick update for next week. Everyone's asking. I know next week's episode, Parting Shot, is a huge episode, and I know you guys are hoping for like some big stars, but we're getting our friend TJ Jaworich from Agents of Fandom in because the episode is it's sensitive for the people involved with the show. So we're not not getting anyone from the show. We're going to just talk about it as fans. And but we'll get your shot glasses ready. We will be taking shots at the end of the episode. So it'll be a fun one. It'll be a sad one. I'm not going to cry. Is that so, John? If you don't, it's the last episode of Bobby and Hunter. It's their final episode next week.
Okay.
So yeah. So it's an emotional one. So we'll see you guys next week, probably at, I think, 1 o'clock, our usual time. Have a great Oscars day. My hope is that Sinners wins Best Picture and One Battle After Another wins Best Director. That's what I'm manifesting. Thank you guys all so much, and thank you again, John. Have a good rest of your day.